Going gradually down the whole body. Checking our posture at the same time. Opening up a little bit more through the stomach area, through the hips. And then using the 9-round breathing. So it actually comes from, I think Kai showed Yoga Tantra, this practicing 9-round breathing on the basis of, the winds being supporting the mind, wind and mind come together all the time at gross level, subtle and very subtle levels. So, when we clear, like doing yoga, when we clear the wind element in the body, it helps to support the mind. So we just do that at practice again, bringing the first finger, the right hand, closing off the right nostril, inhale through the left, exhale through the right 3 times. Long, slow, deep breaths. Again, allowing it to soften. Just try to keep the jaw, the back of the throat soft. Opposite side when you're ready. And then we have a bit more space, body and mind, just gently trying to bring our awareness now to our point of concentration, our object of concentration, or just being with that image or that, the breath, whatever we usually use. And if we're not familiar, again, we just go with the breath at the tip of the nostrils. Then just trying to feel that everything else is background, noise, thoughts, pain. Just keep holding that sort of gently in the background because we can't completely disengage from them, but we're more interested in, curious about the object of meditation. Want to dive into that more, be with that more for the next 7, 8 minutes. That sense of being more interesting than whatever else is going on. And we just label that. If the mind goes into the thoughts, we just label thoughts. Noise, pain, body sensation. And just go back into object of concentration. So we just gently disengage for the breath or the object or concentration, just taking a minute to relax the mind a little bit. Before we go back in and do another, say, 7, 8 minutes again. Move the body a little bit if you need to. Or just gently scanning through the body, just to release any tension in the familiar places. So as we go back in again, just also connecting with if there's any sense of peace, a little bit more peacefulness we feel, just taking kind of strength from that. Even if it's not much, but a little bit more peacefulness when we do this practice, start to feel that in the body and the mind, or just through the power of being here. There's a sense of peacefulness. So just connecting with that feeling as well, allowing that to strengthen us when we go into the meditation, being with the object. So again, just getting into our meditation position. It really locks us in the practice. And just we do another 7, 8 minutes again. So just letting go of the object again with sort of non-judgmentalness, however we did, just leaving it as it is. And then, as Rimshi says, we need to, for Tara practice to work, or to get the benefit of Tara practice, we need Lam Rim. And also to develop a Lam Rim practice, the gradual path to enlightenment, we need the support of Tara. So they support and benefit each other, to bring both of them, either some sort of yidam or deity practice, into our Lam Rim practice. So yesterday also, in terms of an analogy, Rimshi used this analogy, I think in terms of Tantra, meeting Tantra, but we can also use it as we move into the Lam Rim. There's the three scopes, the three capabilities, or the three potentials that we have to develop this life, as we move through the Lam Rim. So in the first potential, we recognize at the beginning of the Lam Rim, we kind of recognize that we have trying to take hold of this experience, the preciousness of having a human life with certain karmic characteristics. Having met the Dharma, having this kind of faith or spiritual curiosity, which we know many are friends, family, maybe they just don't have that, They might be good people, but there's not a thought to go beyond, a lot far beyond our karmic experience right now. So we possess that, we developed that somehow in our past life. Especially we've met the teachings of the Buddha, where the path to enlightenment, it's really clearly set out for us. And we have these masters who, are living experiences of the realizations, the qualities on the path. These are some of the characteristics of having what we call not just a human rebirth, but a precious human rebirth. So in terms of, this analogy Rimshi used yesterday of it's a bit like possessing or in possession, we've gifted ourselves from our past life through our merit, goodness that we created in our past life. We've gifted ourselves this precious brocade, or, really nice piece of cloth, silk, something like that. That's kind of how our, this is our karmic experience right now. We're in possession of this precious human life, this piece of brocade. So what do we do with it? Instead of recognizing maybe that it's valuable, we just use it for cleaning the floor. In other words, instead of using our precious human rebirth, this piece of brocade, to sort of maybe be the basis of creating an altar, a nice place to support our spiritual practice, like an altar does, holy objects do. Symbols enlighten mind, body, speech. Instead of using it for that, we just use it to clean the floor. In other words, just for the sort of ordinary purposes of this life. Because maybe we don't recognize that this piece of, this brocade is really valuable. So the first, in the first scope, we're trying to get this sense of the value of our life, and also valuing ourselves, feeling really grateful about what we have achieved in the past, to have this karmic appearance and experience right now. All these possibilities that are open to us. Recognizing these potentials that we are able to develop. We're Buddha nature. So how wonderful that is, that we're in possession of this kind of special brocade, this special appearance, this life. So I guess we feel it more when we're here at the Dharma Centre, but trying to hold that in our lives generally. That kind of supports the rest of the path, the continual development of our potential, feeling fortunate, feeling a sense of richness with this precious human rebirth. And then, also Rimshi mentioned about causal refuge. So at this level of just awakening our potential, we need a sense of refuge. So we're using this precious human rebirth, this brocade, to first of all develop this level of refuge. So it's like placing the brocade on the table and using it for our outer refuge, placing our outer refuge objects, the Buddha, the gurus, the Dharma, the text, the Sangha. We're using it as a support for our outer refuge. We need the refuge of the outer objects, the Buddha, the teachers. We need the medicine of the teachings. Keep taking that, to support the mind. And we need our Dharma community. Friends who help to support us to develop these potentials, just even at the first level of the lower scope, just affirming, keeping our refuge strong, taking the medicine and the teachings, keeping coming to the Dharma Centre or having friends around who kind of just guide and support us, keep nurturing, help us to nurture this potential, this first potential. It takes us in at least at the level of causal refuge, faith and conviction in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. At the first level of enlightened potential, in the Lam Rim, it takes us across the bardo, into the next life with some safety and security so we don't fall down, fall out of spiritual practice. We get a good human rebirth, if not pure realm, but a good human rebirth. And we continue to develop our enlightened potential. We secure that for ourselves. The next potential in the Lam Rim is with that sort of strong sense of refuge, even in this life, trying to develop this deeper interest in the nature of mind, deeper interest in not trying to avoid altogether rebirth by developing the inner causes and conditions of concentration that we're practicing now, and the wisdom that we need to liberate us from the wrong view of self. It's kind of where we're going in the middle scope, developing that potential. And that leads us more into resultant refuge that Rimshi mentioned yesterday, taking a stronger refuge in that potential that we have to develop those levels of mind. So we need a stronger sort of faith and conviction in our potential to do that as we move into the second level of spiritual development and kind of Lam Rim path. We need to feel more confidence in our ability to do that. and creating the inner causes and conditions for that to manifest. So again, we use Tara, to practice the Yidam, Tara. That helps to develop and increase that resultant refuge. When we do these practices, these visualizations, it kind of opens up these subtle minds that we need to develop these wisdom realizing emptiness. That manifests on the basis of the subtle minds. Then when we get that freedom altogether, that we're able to liberate ourselves altogether from cyclic existence, from rebirth, reincarnation. We achieve that free state for ourselves. Then we can really do the work for others in the higher scope, develop the 6 perfections, develop this, it's more and more the enlightened activity of Tara through generosity, through morality, patience. We need to perfect those in the higher scope. So we more deeply rely on the outer refuge and also the inner refuge. So both of those causal and resultant refuge just develop as we go through the Lam Rim. And then eventually, as we get into the higher scopes, it's like much more relying on our resultant refuge, that potential for the generosity, the morality, the patience, just to kind of become ever increasing in our own heart and mind. And it's like Rimshi said yesterday, that level of bodhicitta, it's like enlightenment's just a sort of byproduct. It just happens by the way. Because I think there's so much joy, in benefiting others. So much joy in practicing generosity, keeping morality, or concentration and deeper realizations. Emptiness, they just sort of flow much more naturally. We're just riding the wave of up to enlightenment, I think, so to speak. So it just happens by the way. The more focused on benefiting others, just like we see in the example His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, when he was with us, it's like just the focus is others. So it's such a beautiful state of mind, to be there. How wonderful that would be. So even though we're not there right now, it's just trying to imagine what that state would be, where we are right now as well, of course, and generating these aspirations to become like these great masters. Just all the actions there, body, speech, and mind, just constantly benefiting others. And our own joy, bliss, and happiness, that just increases by the way, all the way up to enlightenment. So I guess this is really the experience of Tara, the absolute refuge, that place of Tara, where it's just endlessly, there for sentient beings. Endlessly manifesting in all these different ways to benefit us, to benefit sentient beings. So just holding that wherever we are, that faith and conviction that we can definitely achieve that step by step. And may I and all beings achieve that state step by step. She said, trying to free yourself of expectation, just step by step, creating the causes and conditions, moving through our three enlightened potentials. Taking as much inspiration we can draw in from the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, our causal refuge, and also allowing that to feed the inspiration, the confidence, our own resultant refuge. So that grows more and more. That was the bell.